the state government of Ondo State were instructing their teachers not to take their wards to private schools. Now that raised an eyebrow here because we're thinking, okay, what is going on here? You know, there are lots of questions to be asked. At what point is the government waking up to this reality that many of their teachers have their wards in private schools? What is the reason? What's the issue exactly? And are they also morally right to ask for that? Because if we want to investigate properly,
now that's the question.
To check across board, are all of their pupils, all their wards going to the private schools? We're talking about basic education, that's primary schools, public schools. So what are your thoughts on this? I was arguing that this didn't come from the state governor because the paper said the governor said. And I'm like, when I now read the article, it was the suburb chairman that said, but they're saying he's speaking on behalf of the governor. I don't know if anytime the chairman of suburb speaks, he's speaking on behalf of the governor. Maybe he is, I don't know, but I would like to believe, I would personally like to believe he's not speaking on behalf of Governor Akeredolu. I would like to believe he's speaking as a suburb chairman, independent. Well, he's not independent, actually, but he's speaking as a suburb chairman. But either way, he has instructed that his teachers must send their wards to the public schools. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your TVC so we can read the tweet. We didn't take comments on the other topic.
Yeah, I'll check the tweets.
Okay, let's go.
But they say those who live in glass house should not throw stones. So, of course, when I heard it, I'm like, no, you must be joking. You mean you understand the importance of keeping your own in a particular establishment so that you send out the right message? I thought I earned my money before I joined government conversation we normally have when Nigerians call on our leaders to lead by example. On the face of it, it's good advice, you know. If the schools are so good and you're a teacher in this school, your child should be the first example to everyone that, you know, this is working. And it definitely sends the wrong message if I am a teacher and my child cannot be in the school that I'm teaching. It really does. Except if that child is out of that school just for maybe really special reasons. My child is such a genius, he's in a specialized school or, you know, but just a regular, it sends the wrong message. But I'm happy that it's coming. I know you have tried to explain it away from the state government itself. But I'm happy in the paper it says it came from the office of the representative of the governor, that they understand how important it is that the structures on ground and whatever it is that we put on ground, the leaders themselves have to fully participate in its growth, and they do that not only by throwing money at it, but by using of those facilities. So this particular story made the papers because it's not just calling the teachers to bring their wards back to public schools, but to say, see, government has put so much money into renovating these schools and building these schools and making sure everything is good. And still the numbers are going down. Why is that? And that's the Nigerian story. Oh, federal government has just, every time we talk about us, the federal government, you say, do not forget do not forget how much federal government in the past 4 years has pumped into the universities. And yet your own children are not in those schools. If they touch them small, do not forget how much government has done in making sure that our medical doctors go through our schools almost for free as compared to their counterparts abroad. And yet you do not use those facilities that you have educated your doctors to work at. So you have to send the right message, and it starts from the beginning, from the top. There's no way now you can call on teachers and tell them to push their children there. So the lesson here is people will always go for what's best for them and for their wards. Yeah. And if what you're providing here in Nigeria is not good enough, whether in education, when it comes to health, people will find a way to move. So this brain drain thing that we're talking about as a nation, this Ondo State story is like a cell of what is happening. That's just, if you have to look at it, that is what's happening across our nation.
That's one angle of it, but when the SUBEB chairman of Ondo State is saying it has become, and I'm quoting him verbatim now, said it has become an offense for any public school teacher to take their words to private school. How is that an offense?
Okay, so I think it comes with a sense of loyalty. I think that when you take pride in the effort you have put on ground, imagine if a principal knows that I've already done, I want personal. If I cannot live in an estate, I will not build the estate for others to live in. If I cannot live in the building, I won't build the building for others. If anything I want to sell, anything I want to give, it must be something I can use. So it is that sense of I would put in my best effort into it. For SUBEB chairman to say this, it might just be because they feel like it shows you don't believe in what you're saying. If you cannot put your own children in the school, you don't believe in what you're teaching, you don't believe in the standard of education you're giving to other people's children, and then you will not inspire enrollments in your school because parents, your neighbors see that you are not putting your own children in that school. Where is the principal's child going to? That's the school I want my own children to go into as well. So, but in pure sense, are we punishing the wrong people? Because sometimes the average principal, it's not principal they call them in primary school, the average head teacher already is an adult, and most of their children are grown up. So it might not affect a lot of teachers. Some teachers don't have children in primary school. Whether it's not a case of all my children have already outgrown this level of education. So are we just going to be punishing the few whose children are supposed to be in the school? And is it even a punishment? If we are going to say every school teacher, every civil servant, let us make it a rule that all civil servants put your children in public institution, then we are going to now spread it to all political office holders, put your children in public institution, because when all of us know that all our eggs are in this basket, we will guide the basket.
But you know something, I know a few teachers in Lagos State have actually pulled their children from private schools to the public schools because they've seen the investment and the change in the public schools. And
they didn't have to be compelled.
They didn't tell me. They didn't have to be compelled. They were told because they've seen that a lot of investment and change. So is it possible that the Ondo State government is actually investing or has invested? I don't know what Ondo State has done, but is it possible that they have seen the investment? That if you cannot put your own child in this school that we have invested so much in, then so it's counterproductive for us. So it doesn't encourage other community members to put their children. So you also must be willing to sacrifice and put your children in this school to show that you are bought into the vision of the state, of the changes they're making within that. So that's another angle to look at it.
I think sacrifice connotes something like
that's an angle, but the question would be why, after all the contributions and that we're putting towards the school, why are teachers still taking their children out? What is it that we're not doing right, even though we have put so much money towards this? And then you start to ask the questions and ask the proper questions that you have to compel them. For me, that's dangerous. Because the teachers know better than anyone. The teachers within the schools, within the system, would know better than anyone if the schools are good. And the teachers want the best for their children. And if they see,
they should naturally
naturally. In fact,
if
the schools are so good, the teachers will be the first to find ways to bring their children back
into the
so
schools.
Maybe infrastructurally, things have improved. But personnel-wise, have things improved? Curriculum-wise, have things improved? Those are the things, and that's what the should be looking at instead of compelling teachers to have their words
penalizing them. Let's take a few comments on social media on either of the topics we talked about so that we can get some perspectives from there.
So, Charles says, making teachers bring their words to school is good, but government officials should set the examples. Teachers are not expected to equip the schools with facilities and staff. Most schools don't have adequate teachers. Bilikisu said, it's not censored that someone is accused of witchcraft, but couldn't rescue herself while... Is it not censored that somebody who is accused of witchcraft couldn't rescue herself while being attacked? Who confirmed that she's a witch to begin with? Everyone that raised hands against that woman should be prosecuted. Glad I didn't see the video.
Yeah, the Chronicles 777 says, can these public schools compete favorably with private schools? It goes beyond the teacher. How about facilities? Secondly, why don't our leaders lead by example? Let all public office holders follow the same trend in Ondo State first before enforcing it. This one says, Akigbe Omolara says, this coming from the government or their representative is quite steep. Are the SUBEB chairman's children in our public schools? I'm a teacher. My kids went to public school. let him lead by example.
Interesting. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a few calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.